Hey there, in this video I will walk you through installing SQL Server on your Mac operating system. There are 4 applications we need to successfully install SQL Server on your Mac. At the moment, SQL Server is not designed to run on Mac operating system, but we can solve that problem by installing a virtual machine. A virtual machine is an application that can be used to run different operating systems within your host computer. The name of the virtual machine we will install is VirtualBox. Next, we will install Windows 10 ISO image. Once that is completed, we will install the SQL Server 2019 Developer Edition, which is a free SQL Server that can be used in a non-production environment. As of the making of this video, SQL Server 2019 is the most recent edition. Finally, we will install SSMS SQL Server Management Studio, which is the graphic user interface that allows us to connect to SQL Server. The download link will be provided in the video description, and I'll also show you how to get to the download page. From Google, type download VirtualBox. The first link should be from virtualbox.org, so click on the download link. And what you want to do from here is to click on OS X host. That will be the version for Mac operating system. And while that is downloading, I'll just open a new tab. And let's move on to our next download, which is to download Windows 10 operating system. And we want the ISO image. So click on the first link, and that should take you to the main page. On the download page, just scroll down and we want to select our edition. The edition we need is Windows 10, and click on confirm. And now you have to select your language. For me, it will be English. Then confirm. Just going to take a few seconds. And next we want to download the 64 bits. This is a fairly large file, so it will take some time before the download is completed. While that's been downloaded, I will download the next, which will be SQL Server 2019. So just type download SQL Server 2019. And the first link will be from Microsoft, and just click on that link. And you want to scroll down as we have different download options, but we want the developer edition. So click on download. Now I already have this downloaded, so I won't go through that step again. So next, let's download our SQL Server Management Studio. Just type download SSMS, that should be good. The first link would be the download link. And you want to scroll down a little bit and click on the download link for SSMS. So all of this download should be done in about 20 minutes or so. Once the download is completed, then we'll start installing the applications. Once the downloads are completed, click on Finder, select your downloads folder or wherever you downloaded all the applications. And we should have all these 4 applications that we downloaded. Next will be to install the VirtualBox. Double click on VirtualBox, and I'm just going to reduce or minimize those pages. And the installation is fairly fast, so it should be completed in a matter of minutes, so 3 minutes or so. Now you double click on number 1, so the first step, just double click on that icon. Click on continue to run the program. Then continue. And you can change the installation location if you choose to do so. Just click on install, enter your password, mark the password to your computer, and now the files will start installing. Now, this is an important step in the installation. You should get this pop-up, System Extension Blocked. All you need to do is to click Open Securities Preferences and then give permission for VirtualBox to be installed on your computer. But sometimes this pop-up doesn't display on time, or you may simply not notice the pop-up, and what ends up happening is that your computer blocks the installation, which then leads to a failed installation. Now, if you see installation failed, don't worry about it. Simply click Open Security Preferences, click the lock, enter your password, and click Unlock. And now you just have to click Allow to allow Oracle America to be installed on your computer. So pretty much just allowing the VirtualBox to be installed on your computer. If you did not see the security preference box, don't worry about it. Just click on Settings on your taskbar. Now click on Security and Privacy. Click on the lock. Enter your password and click on Lock. And right here you should have the option to allow VirtualBox to be installed on your computer. Next, we just close this box because we'd have to reinstall the application. And just double click, continue, and now install, and then enter your password, install the software, and this should do it now. Alright, so successfully installed. We can go ahead and close this, and close this as well. There are a couple of ways of opening VirtualBox. You can click on the search icon at the top right corner of your computer, type VirtualBox, and from there you can double click to open it. You can also click on Launchpad, and from here you can double click to open VirtualBox. Once you launch VirtualBox, you will see the VirtualBox Manager. Now yours will be clean, it will look different. I already have a Windows Server installed inside of VirtualBox. Yours won't have any of this. So the next step for us would be to install Windows 10 operating system onto the VirtualBox. Next, click New. And now type Windows 10, which is what we are installing. And then the type should show Microsoft Windows. If not, click on the drop down to select Microsoft Windows and Windows 10 64-bit as well. And then click Continue. And I will increase the memory size to 4 gig. And continue. And just create. This is fine. And then we'll leave it at VirtualBox disk image, continue, and also just select dynamically allocated. And I am fine with 50 gigs as well, so just go ahead and click on create. Now we have Windows 10 uploaded to VirtualBox Manager, and we just need to do a couple of adjustments. So we need to click on Settings, and then from Settings, click on Advanced, and change the Disable to Bidirectional, and we change the drag and drop option to bidirectional as well. Now we go to Shared Folders. And this is where we'll be able to then connect the the downloads folder on our MacBook to the VirtualBox, because right now all of the other downloads we have is within the download folder of our MacBook, and we have to find a way to connect because the VirtualBox is a standalone. Now we have a VirtualBox which is a standalone, pretty much a standalone computer of its own, and we need to be able to retrieve files from our MacBook and transfer those into the into our Windows 10 operating system. So what we'll do here is to connect our MacBook to the virtual. The next step is to click on the drop down on folder path, and we want to select our folder, the downloads folder. This is where I downloaded all the applications. So if this is where you downloaded the applications as well, or where you want to be able to transfer files between your MacBook and the VirtualBox, then you select that. For me, it's the downloads folder. And now you click on auto mount, click OK, and we click on storage. From storage, we want to click on empty. And then we click on the optical drive, we click on the blue icon and click on choose a disk file. And from here, we now select our Windows 10 download, so the ISO image. And we click on open to load the file itself. And then we click on OK. And now we are all set to run the application and install Windows 10 on our VirtualBox. Next, click on Start. And now click on the drop down because I have multiple applications, but we want to select the Windows 10 because that's the application we want to run. And you should only have Windows 10 showing on your drop down, and then we click on Start. And now we start running the Windows 10 application, and this will take some time. Might take around on average 15 to 20 minutes to install Windows 10 operating system. So now click on Next and click Install. And we can click I don't have a product key. And we want Windows 10 Home. That's fine. There are different editions, but this is all we need. Click on Next. And then agree to the license and terms. Next. And we have to select Custom Install. The size is 50 gigs, so that's fine. Click on Next. And the installation would start. And you can just click on that mic icon, the microphone icon, select your region, and then select the keyboard type you want, and I'll just skip this. And there you have the option to create a new ID or Microsoft account. If you have one existing, you can just sign in with that, or you can create a new one. Once you're done with that, you'll be prompted to create a PIN. Now you want to make sure that you remember whatever PIN you create, because this is what gives you access to the computer, to the to Windows 10. So you might want to write it down. And I'll just click on No for now. We'll do this later. And not now. And you could choose something different, but that's good for me. Great, so the Windows 10 installation has been completed. So a couple more steps we need to do. Click on Devices. Click Insert Guest Additions, see the image. And now let's open our folder. And we want to click on this PC. And then we would double click on the VirtualBox Guest Additions. and click on the AMD 64, double click on that, and click on yes, next, next, and install. And install. And this might prompt us to restart. So just click on finish, and that would restart the Windows 10 operating system, pretty much your Windows computer. Now just click on anywhere on the desktop, enter your PIN or password, whatever you created. Okay, and you can close that. We can also switch to a full screen mode. And to switch back, just press Command F on your keyboard. Now open up our folder, click on Network, and we should see this VBox SVR. And this is how we then access the downloads folder on our MacBook. So any file or anything we save or store within the downloads folder on your host computer, so on your MacBook, we will be able to access that in the VirtualBox through this folder. Next, double click on the downloads folder. So now we have access to our downloads folder from our MacBook. Now we will go ahead and install SQL Server 2019. Just double click on that and click on yes. And this will take some time as well, could take anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes. Click on basic. And we have to agree to the license and terms. Just click on accept. And this is just the location SQL Server will be installed on your computer. You can click on install. Once the installation is completed, we can close SQL Server installation. Now we go back to our folder, and the next step would be to install SSMS, SQL Server Management Studio. Going to reduce this or minimize this box. And click on yes to allow SSMS make changes to your computer. And click on install. Once the installation is completed, you'll be prompted to restart the computer. So just go ahead and restart. And now we can log back in. Just click anywhere on the desktop and enter your PIN or password. So now we have successfully, after so many installations and downloads, we have successfully installed SQL Server 2019 onto your MacBook. The next step is I would suggest that you attach SQL Server Management Studio to your taskbar, because then it makes it easy for you to access SQL Server. I would also advise that you want to keep or attach VirtualBox on your MacBook. So you want to keep it, you want to dock it on your taskbar. That way you can easily access VirtualBox, because we know that the SQL Server or Windows 10 is on your VirtualBox. So I would recommend that you do that. The next step would be to just attach SQL Server, pretty much SQL Server Management. Click on the Start menu. And at the very top, you should see recently added, and that would show Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio and SQL Server 2019 because they were recently added. But we can also scroll down, and we should find, when we scroll down to M, we should find Microsoft SQL Server Tools 18, and we would see Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio. Click on the prompt and then just click on More, and now we can click Pin to Taskbar. Double click on the SSMS icon And the first time you launch this, it could take up to a minute or more, but subsequently it will be much faster to launch SSMS. Now we have a SQL Server and we can connect. We have the server type, which is the database engine, and that's what you want it to be, except you want to connect to other services. Under the server name, we have a server name. If for any reason you don't see the server name, click on Browse. And now under database engine, if you click on the drop down, you see the server name and you can just click on it from there. Just cancel. We have authentication. We are using Windows authentication. You could set up other authentication as well, but for now we just keep it at Windows authentication. And once you click on connect, now you will connect to the server. We have our Object Explorer. For more information or to learn more about SQL Server, I do have a review. So you can find the link to the video where I did a quick review of SQL Server environment. So I would suggest that you watch that as well if you want a quick review of what the environment looks like and the different functionalities.